Imagine a cold winter morning. Snow covers the ground, and your breath turns to mist in the air. You're a young soldier wrapped in a worn coat, your feet sore from marching. You haven't had much food to eat, and your hands are cold and red. All around you are other soldiers, tired, hungry, and hoping for better days. But even in this hard time, you hear a voice encouraging you to stay strong. That voice belongs to General George Washington, and the place is called Valley Forge. Valley Forge was not a battle. It was a winter camp for the American Army during the Revolutionary War. In the winter of 1777 to 1778, General Washington and his soldiers stopped there to rest, train, and survive. Even though there were no cannons firing or enemies attacking, the time at Valley Forge became one of the most important parts of America's fight for independence. The war had started in 1775, and by late 1777, things were not going well for the American soldiers. They had lost several battles, and the British had taken control of Philadelphia, the American capital at the time. General Washington needed a safe place to keep his army during the winter months. He chose Valley Forge, a place about 20 miles from Philadelphia, where he could keep an eye on the British, but also stay far enough away to rest. When the soldiers arrived at Valley Forge in December, they faced terrible conditions. It was cold, snowy, and muddy. Many of the soldiers didn't have proper clothes or shoes. Some wrapped their feet in cloth, while others walked barefoot through the snow. Food was hard to find, and there weren't enough blankets or tents. Some soldiers built small huts out of logs to keep warm, but the huts were crowded and uncomfortable. The army was hungry and tired. Illness spread quickly, and many soldiers got sick with diseases like smallpox and fever. More than 2,000 soldiers died that winter, not from fighting, but from hunger, cold, and disease. Still, most of the army stayed. They believed in what they were fighting for: freedom and a better future. At the heart of Valley Forge was George Washington. He stayed with his men the whole time. He visited their huts, listened to their worries, and tried to bring them hope. Even though he was a general, he never acted like he was better than the soldiers. He knew they were all part of the same fight. Washington also worked hard to get help. He sent letters asking for food, clothes, and medicine. Slowly supplies began to arrive. Then something amazing happened. A man named Baron von Steuben, a soldier from Prussia, a country in Europe, arrived at Valley Forge. He offered to help train the army. Von Steuben didn't speak much English, but he knew how to turn a group of tired, untrained fighters into a real army. He taught them how to march in rows, use their weapons better, and follow clear commands. His training made a big difference. The soldiers trained even in the snow, with their muskets and bayonets. They learned to work together and became stronger each day. What had once been a group of farmers and shopkeepers was now turning into a skilled fighting force. By the time spring arrived, the army at Valley Forge was ready. When the army marched out of Valley Forge in June 1778, they stood tall and proud. They were better trained, better organized, and full of new hope. The time at Valley Forge had been hard, but it had also brought them closer together. They had survived the cold, the hunger, and the sickness, and they were ready to keep fighting for independence. Valley Forge became a symbol of strength, courage, and determination. It showed the world that the American army would not give up, even in the hardest times. It also showed the power of leadership. George Washington's care and bravery helped keep the army together when things looked dark. Today you can visit Valley Forge National Historical Park in Pennsylvania. There you can see the place where the soldiers built their huts, walked through snow, and trained in the cold. Statues and signs help tell the story of what happened there. People visit to honor the men who stayed, trained, and believed in something bigger than themselves. Valley Forge teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes the hardest moments help us grow the most. Even when things are tough, we can be brave, work together, and keep going. The soldiers at Valley Forge didn't give up, and because of that, they helped win the war and build a new country. The story of Valley Forge is not just about soldiers and war. It's about never losing hope, even when things seem impossible. It's about believing in a better future and working hard to make it real.